Look at how to download our Newton flag tag file to make our keychain that we're going to be making. So again, this is the keychain we'll be making for you guys' project. So first thing you're going to want to do is download the file. So you can just click on that and your file will download. Then you're going to want to come over here to your search bar, and we're going to, on your computer, open a program called CorelDraw, and we want to make sure we open the X7 version of CorelDraw. So I'll go ahead and click on that to open. It's going to bring up a sign account information page to log in. You don't need that, so you can just click close. And when it says, are you sure you want to cancel, just click yes, and the program will go ahead and open. Once you've done that, we're going to go ahead and go to File, and we'll click Open. We'll find the file that we just downloaded, so the Newton flag tag file, and I'm going to go ahead and click Open, and that file will open for us. And then the first thing that we're going to want to do is we want to make sure we save that tag into our shared drive, into our folder. So I'm going to go ahead and go to File and Save As. I'm going to come out to the W drive. I'll go to our engineering folder, select our course, Intro to Industrial Tech. You guys will select your block that you're in and the file in the folder that you created for yourself. I'm going to click mine right here and click Save, and then that way we have that file saved where we need it. The next thing that I want to reference is the operation and setup sheet, and so the operation setup and checklist. So we're going to go ahead and look through this really quickly. So this gives us all the information that we're going to need to be able to set up the file to create our keychain little tag. And so a couple of things I want to point out to you here. We have a part name, a description, the program name for it. The material is really the first thing that I want to point out. So we're going to be using the Rowmark Laser Max material, and so this is what it looks like. The other thing that I want to make sure I point out is that the size of the material that you're going to use for this is included right here as well. And so that's really important anytime we're getting a file ready for our laser, is that we have the size correct. And so if you look here into this file, you can see that so to change that material size in your file, you can just go here. And so again, it's really important that you know the material size. Ours is 4x4. If you needed to change it, you just type in those dimensions here, and you can change it. So that this would be like an 8x8 material. Again, though, we're using 4x4, so I'll leave that here. There's going to be a little file over here on the side. You can just select all of that and delete it. We'll be creating our own, so you can just get rid of that one. So a couple of things else that we need to look at on how the laser works. If I go back to our setup sheet and we look at this again, notice we're going to have an engrave line, and it tells us that the fill of our engrave line needs to be black, and the outline is going to be none. This is the line that's going to engrave our file. All right, and so when I say it's engraving, that's the black tracks and the wheat pattern on the keychain. And so this is what we need to make sure our lines are set up in our graphic design software. And so I'll go ahead and click on that, and I'm going to click on that the graphic here, and we're going to go ahead and change that. So up here is the line thickness, the outline, and like I said on the like it says on the setup sheet, we need to have no outline. So I'll go ahead and select none for that. And then I'm going to come over here and make sure I have black selected for the infill. And so if you want the infill to be black, you come over here to our color palette and you'll regular left click on it. All right. If I wanted it to be an outline, so I just cleared it so just to show you. If I wanted it to be an outline in black, I could right click on it, and then the outline will show up in black. And notice it changes up here to a hairline instead of none then. All right. So we want our fill to be none, and we want our infill to be black. So I'll go ahead and left click to make the infill black. The next thing that we're going to want to do is change, make sure we have this file set up correctly. So again, if we look at our setup sheet, it tells us that our cut line, our fill should be transparent, and our outline should be a hairline, and the color should be red. And so I'm going to go back to, again, to my CorelDraw file. So right now we have a outline of half a point. We're going to change that and make it a hairline. Anytime you're creating the cut line, so this is the line that's going to cut out material, it has to be a hairline. It's already red, but just to remind you, if I come over here to red and I left click, it's going to fill in the red. Remember, for our fill is going to be transparent, so to get that transparent, I'm going to come up here and click on the X, and that will make it transparent. And then to make sure I get the fill line red, or excuse me, the outline red, I will go ahead and right click and it shows red there. Now we're going to align these parts. So I'm going to show you a couple things on how to do that. So if you come over here to Object and you click on Align and Distribute, you can come down here and there's an Align and Distribute menu that will open. What we want is we want these things to be aligned, and so you can kind of just move them and eyeball it, but we want it to be perfect, and so there's tools built into the software to help you with that. So if I click on the kind of the outline, the shape of it, and then I hold down Shift on my keyboard, I can select both things. And so again, I select one, I hold down Shift on my keyboard, and I select both of them. I can align things right here with this tool. So this is going to align the horizontal, align these things horizontally. So if I click that, now they're aligned horizontal. I can click this one and they'll be aligned vertically. And so it put it directly in the center of my page because I have this page edge option selected. So this is the edges of the active objects. This would be to center it on the page. This is the page edge, and so there's some different options there. Once I have that done, you'll notice that this part of the wheat goes to the hole where the keychain will attach to it, and it's fairly close. And so I'm going to move this down a little bit. So again, I'm going to click on the wheat, and I'm just going to use my arrow on my keyboard to move up the red kind of piece a little bit until it looks fairly centered on the part, and so that will work. The last thing that I'm going to show you how to do is group the parts. So I'm going to drag a box around everything, and then I'm going to come over here to Object, and I'm going to say I want to group these objects together. And so when I group them together, then they will move as one object instead of multiple objects. If you ever need to ungroup them, if you just right click on it and you can just say Ungroup Objects, it will ungroup them for you. So I'll do that again. Right click on it. I'm going to hit Escape on my keyboard. To do that, I'm actually going to do that from the Object menu. So I'll click that and I'll come over here to Group and I'll say Ungroup Objects. And it will ungroup those two objects. And if I even wanted to ungroup this object more, I could click on it again and say group, and I could say ungroup all objects, and then you'll see that like I could even like move some of these individual pieces around, which is not necessarily what I want to do for this. So again, I'll make sure I have both of my objects selected. I'm going to align them both ways. I will move the outline up a little bit until it looks fairly centered on my keychain like I want it. Select them all, and I will group them again. Alright, once you have that done, we're going to put 4 of these on our sheet. So I'm going to just copy by hitting Control Copy and Paste. And then I can move another one of these down, paste another one, move it over, and then paste my last one. and making sure they're all fitting nicely on my design space, all right, for the material. And so that's how you set up the file. I'm going to go ahead and save it. And remember, it'll save back to that W drive.